Greetings in the name of our Lord Jesus Christ. Welcome to the Rockies podcast. We are so glad to have you with us today. This is our interview segment titled, What Has Life Taught You? A space where we dive into stories, wisdom, and life lessons that have shaped our guest journey. Before we dive in, we commit this podcast into the hands of the Lord. God, have your way. Holy Spirit, take control in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen. Our guest today is a dynamic life and relationship coach who has made it her mission to help individuals and couples navigate their most challenging moments with clarity, hope, and healing. With an extensive background as a certified behavior technician, peer recovery coach, mental health coach, and relationship specialist, Blessing has worked tirelessly to guide people toward healthier relationships, greater emotional well-being, and deeper self-awareness. Blessing specializes in helping couples identify the root causes of their relationship distress, reduce anxiety and stress, and achieve their personal goals by fostering a deep collaborative approach to problem solving. What sets Blessing apart is not only her professional training, but also the wisdom she draws from her faith. She believes it's through the wisdom of God that she's able to help couples find their way back to love, understanding, and unity. Today, we are going to talk about the key lessons that Blessing has learned in her own life, the powerful strategies she uses to support others, and how to overcome the obstacles that often create distance in relationships. Whether you are in a relationship, considering a big life change, or just looking to learn how to create more peace and harmony in your life, this conversation is for you. Please join me to welcome our guest, Blessing Adjei.
Hi everyone, my name is Blessing Adjei. As the speaker has introduced, I'm a behavioral specialist, an expert relationship coach, and a matchmaker. I currently work with Babe Relationship Platform, which is a dating site, online dating site for people of all ages and genders. So that is what I do currently.
Thank you, Blessing. Let's jump right in. So, Blessing, you have a unique and diverse set of qualifications as a life and relationship coach, behavior technician, and mental health coach. Could you share with us a bit about your journey and what led you to pursue this path?
Well, my journey began with a passion for helping others. I've always been drawn to understanding human behavior and relationships right from when I was a little child. I always watched my parents, the way they communicated with each other, and my siblings. I also paid attention to their relationships. I was the youngest of all of my older siblings, so I learned a lot from them. And then also through my education and training, I gained a strong foundation in psychology, behavior analysis, and coaching. And my experience working with individuals and couples have shaped my approach, and I'm committed to ongoing learning and growth. Also, after I got married, I started learning a lot of things about marriage. I compared my current marriage to that of my parents, and I had to understand that everyone is different. But then, when you have a solid background that comes from parenting, it helps to shape your current marriage and how you treat your partner. So that was what actually led me to becoming an expert relationship coach, and I have helped countless couples to be able to find their feet again.
That's amazing. So, in your experience, how do you define the wisdom of God in your work? And how does that influence your approach to helping couples navigate their challenges?
Well, for me, the wisdom of God represents a higher power that guides my work. It's about trusting in God's divine plan and seeking guidance from a spiritual perspective. I believe that I can help couples. I have the gift to speak to people, and I also have the skill of listening attentively. Listening is a skill. Not everyone has it. Some people are not able to listen to your problem. But if you're able to listen to the issues of every individual and absorb it, and you're able to look for different ways to meet their needs, I believe it has to do with the wisdom of God, which is drawn from prayer. So before I talk to any of my clients, before any of my coaching sessions, I pray. Before I start speaking with them, I ask for wisdom to be able to tackle their problem, because I always tell myself that I cannot do this alone. Relationship has to do with a deeper form of connection that no one understands. Like the Bible says, God is the originator of marriage. So whenever it has to do with love and people's emotions, I always pray about these individuals before I begin to approach them. And also, this influences my approach. It reminds me that I have to be humble and empathetic and non judgmental. So, even if people are going through different things that I haven't experienced, I cannot judge them. I strive to create a safe space for all my clients to explore their challenges so they can find inner peace.
Wow, I love that. I love your approach. Drawing your wisdom from God. That is so powerful. So, as a life and relationship coach, what would you say has been the most valuable lesson life has taught you personally? And how does that influence your work with your clients?
I would say one of my most valuable lessons I've learned is the importance of self awareness and self care. Recognizing my own limitations and taking care of myself has allowed me to be more present and available and effective in my work with my clients. I do not overload myself with work that I cannot handle. And I know when it's becoming overwhelming, I know when it's time to take a break. So I emphasize the importance of self awareness and self care with my clients, as it's very essential for building strong relationships and also achieving my personal growth in my career.
That is so insightful. So, life can often throw us unexpected challenges. Have there been particular moments in your life that shaped how you view relationships or personal growth? How did you overcome those?
Well, yes, I've experienced challenges in my personal relationships and I've had to navigate my own growth. Before I'm able to teach other people, I've been able to put into use those skills firsthand in my marriage. So, being married all these years, I've learned a lot about relationships. There were times where I have failed in my approach or in my means of communication to my husband. And I'm someone that I always learn from my mistakes or from the mistake of others. And sometimes I don't have to wait for it to happen to me. I learn from what happens to someone else and I just make sure that I work with it in my life. So, being married, having children, I've had issues with communication earlier on in my marriage. And I had to develop other skills, and humility has helped me to be able to understand my partner's perspective about life. Knowing that I am not always right and I do not know it all, I have to give my partner an let me say an avenue to express themselves, the autonomy of speech. So that has really taught me a lot. And these things, these lessons I have learned that relationship involves growth. It involves compromise, willingness to learn from each other. I see my relationship as a teaching curve. So we are here to teach each other, heal each other, help each other. So this is how I'm able to help my clients do from my experiences.
Well said. Thank you for sharing that. What is one powerful piece of wisdom that you have gained from working with couples that you wish more people understood about relationships?
Um, One key insight is that relationships involves two individuals with unique experiences, perspectives, and emotions. As an individual, you have to recognize and respect that your partner is different from you. And respecting these differences is crucial for building trust, intimacy, and effective communication. Your partner is not your sibling. You didn't grow up living with them in one apartment or in one house. They have their own family background and upbringing, which shapes their mind and the way they think about issues. So, giving them that opportunity to express themselves and, maintain their authenticity will help couples to approach each other with empathy and an open mind during a conflict or whilst having a conversation.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. Understanding that you are coming from a different background and your husband or spouse is from a different background is very important. It's really very difficult. That first year is the most difficult. But when
Yes,
you get that understanding, then you're able to grow together. Thank you for
absolutely.
sharing that. Thank you for sharing that. So, you work with couples to identify the root causes of stress, anxiety, and distress in their relationship. Could you share an example of a common misconception couples have when they first come to you for help? And how did you help shift their perspective?
I'll say one common misconception is that relationships should be effortless or that conflicts are a sign of incompatibility. You always hear when you tell people that relationship can be tough, they will say things like, it's not my portion. It doesn't have to be your portion. Relationship is hard work. And conflicts will arise because it's a relationship. So when you tell people that conflicts are part of their relationship, they think you're laying a curse on them. They don't understand that these things are supposed to happen. So some people see marriage as a fairy tale. As soon as I find the love of my life, I don't have to put in any effort. Things will just begin to work smoothly and everything will be perfect. We will never have an argument. We will never be able to disagree on a matter. So the moment they come into a relationship or get married and they find themselves having some conflict or disagreeing on a matter, they begin to feel like they are not compatible. And some people will begin to look for an emergency exit or think about divorce. So I help couples understand that relationship involves work, it involves compromise and growth. You must be willing to learn. You must be willing to adjust your thinking. You must be willing to make some personal adjustments, even in your attitude, manner of approach, the way you ask questions, and the way you talk to your partner. So conflicts can actually be opportunities for a couple to have deeper understanding and a connection. Because when you disagree on something or you have conflicts, it helps you to understand your partner better. And it helps you to understand those things that, you know, that strike them, those things that make them feel unhappy, those things that they can't deal with. And then tomorrow you don't repeat the same thing. And that is one of the positive aspects of conflict. And I would say one important thing is knowing how to solve conflict. Now, having conflict is going to happen, but how do you disagree? If you're able to disagree respectfully, if you're able to disagree with your partner without calling them names, without trying to win the argument, knowing that the both of you are partners in the whole game, it is partnership. You're not trying to win each other. You're not trying to raise your voice louder so that you'll be the one who's going to be heard. So when you realize that you are not into any sort of competition, you just want to come to a compromise, then you create peace. You have an understanding. And then the next day, the both of you are back to friendship and life goes on. So that's what relationship is about.
Thank you so much for sharing that. So, as someone who works hand in hand with couples to solve their issues, what do you find is often the most overlooked factor when couples struggle?
I would say one often overlooked factor is the importance of emotional intelligence and self awareness. Couples may focus on changing their partners or the relationship dynamics. When issues happen, they do not examine their own emotions. They don't examine their partner's needs and contributions. Some people say things like, I want to find the right partner. I want he or she to be this, that, and this. They don't even ask themselves, what am I bringing to the table? Am I going to be this, that, and this to them? It's not about finding Mr. Right or Mrs. Right. Are you also going to be Mr. and Mrs. Right to them? So people overlook the fact that when issues happen, it might not even be the fault of your partner, it might be your own fault. They keep pointing fingers at the other person and they forget that they might also have contributed in some kind of way to that issue. Maybe the way they responded, maybe the way they overlooked something. It could be something that they refuse to work on and their partner has constantly complained about it. So those are some of the things that most couples overlook. They overlook trying to, make personal changes. Rather, they point fingers at their partner, calling them the source of the problem in the relationship, not realizing that they also contribute to the issues going on. So it's a two-way street.
Absolutely, I totally agree with you. So, in your experience, what role does self awareness play in the healing process for couples, and how do you guide them to uncover and address their own individual barriers to a healthier relationship?
Well, I use a combination of coaching techniques, behavioral analysis, emotional intelligence exercises. I give them worksheets every week and I also give them goals. So if I have couples or people from other backgrounds like mental health or behavioral issues, I give them weekly goals that they have to meet. I give them worksheets that they have to fill out that helps them to relate with their environment, a worksheet that helps them to self reflect on their individual mind. So these worksheets they have to complete and let me share whatever it is that they have put in. And then they have to report back to me if they were able to hit their goal for the week and tell me how they were able to achieve this. So this helps me to completely keep track of my clients. I don't just leave them, coach them, and then let them go away. I make sure that I give them something that brings them back the next week, that helps them to constantly improve themselves. So we work together to develop these strategies for overcoming these barriers. And I teach them how they can improve in their communication with their partners, how they can build stronger relationship or connection with their partners, and even how they can improve their intimacy with their partners. So this is what helps my clients to strive.
Amazing. So, in helping couples with their relationship dynamics, you often encounter moments where one partner feels stuck or resistant to change. How do you navigate those moments of resistance? And what advice would you give someone feeling stuck in their relationship?
I would say this is very challenging. I've had couples who have come to me and one of them feels stuck in the relationship. So when I work with these couples, one thing I do is I acknowledge and validate each person's feelings and concerns. I don't support one person. I'm a neutral individual in between them. So I don't just hit on one person or side the woman and blame the man or blame the husband and tell the wife, you have to be more respectful, you have to do this, it's all your fault. No. When it comes to relationship, everybody has what they desire and everybody has the free will to express what areas their partners need to make improvement on or where their needs haven't been met. So I give them this area to express themselves so that if they are feeling stuck in the relationship and maybe they're not able to express themselves to their partners, some people are afraid that if I express myself the way I feel, maybe it might result into a battle, we begin to fight, or the other person might become defensive. So, because some people try to avoid that situation, most people don't talk about how they feel. They hold it in. And this results in grudges. People have grudges for their partner for so long because there are so many things that they have suppressed in their heart. They have refused to voice out how they feel. So I help them to identify the underlying causes of the resistance and then work together with them to find common goals and ask them what motivates them in the relationship. So we work together to find the motivation and then we develop strategies for overcoming those obstacles and then rebuilding trust in their partner. Because trust, if you're not able to trust someone, you cannot share your feelings with them. So I help them to rebuild the trust and feel free to express their feelings to their partner rather than holding it in. And then it turns into grudges, from grudges to hatred. Before you know it, the relationship is over.
Wow, great perspective. You've mentioned that it's through the wisdom of God that you are able to help. You've mentioned that it's through the wisdom of God that you are able to help save marriages. Could you share more about how your faith intersects with your professional work and how you help couples bring that divine guidance into their relationship healing?
So I'll say my faith is an integral part of my work. I believe that every individual has an inherent value and deserves to be treated with dignity and respect. So whenever I meet any of my couples, I show them dignity, I show them respect, no matter what they've been through. Because I know the Bible, I understand that it's tough. It's tough living in this world. And it's only when you understand the wisdom of God that you'll be able to navigate through life's challenges. And most people don't have this wisdom. And that's why a lot of them suffer. And that's why a lot of them are struggling. So I strive to create a safe and non judgmental space for my clients so I can explore their challenges and help them to find inner peace. And my faith guides me to approach these clients with empathy. I feel for them. I show them compassion and I try to understand where they are coming from, no matter what their past life has been. I try my best to understand, be not judgmental, and then in that way they'll be able to express themselves freely, knowing that you have not cast them away. You are not treating them like, oh, you are not a Christian, you don't know God, that's why you're suffering. I don't do that. I give them that opportunity to embrace life again, give them a reason to live or make changes in their life. My faith has helped me to be able to use those techniques on my clients.
Well said. That's so inspiring. In moments when couples are on the brink of separation or divorce, what are some of the most impactful strategies or conversation you initiate to help them reconnect and rediscover hope?
So I help these couples identify and rekindle their shared values, their interests and goals by asking them, what did you see in your partner when you met them? Why are you together? Why did you say yes? What was the reason you chose them to be your partner? And then I'll try to ask them. And when they say it, I'll ask them, why are you not seeing those things now? What has changed? Because when people get married, sometimes they forget to remember those wonderful qualities they saw in their partners initially. Relationship is more like a drama. It's not the real deal. Marriage is core reality. So when they get married, reality hits you and you realize that you've been playing all along in your relationship. This is the real deal. And then they'll begin to see some qualities in their partner that they never saw in the relationship. Some people feel disappointed. Some people will say marriage is a scam. This person has scammed me. No, they haven't scammed you. This is their real self. And marriage brings out so much more about you that you didn't even have the time to notice during the relationship stage. So I help them to understand that their partners have not changed. This is your partner. It's just that you're beginning to see them more often. Now you live with them. And sometimes, if you're not intentional enough, you will forget those beautiful things that attracted you to your partner in the first place. So then we work on rebuilding their emotional intimacy because that is very important. through effective communication. They're able to communicate their feelings. They're able to go closer to each other. I try to help them to go on dates regularly, make out time. If you're working excess overtime, because sometimes your work can draw you away from your partner, I try to help them to cut down on some of their work hours so they can have time for their partner. And even some shifts at work, some people work night shifts and their partners work day shifts. And you realize that you and your partner never see eye to eye. When you're coming back, that's when your partner is leaving. And if you're not careful, those things begin to create a distance in your relationship. So I help them to make those adjustments, and then we'll figure out where the problem is coming from. And, with active listening, I also encourage them to practice forgiveness. Sometimes they are not able to forgive or let go. And these things, build up, and they are not able to love their partners the way they used to. I also help them to have gratitude. Practice gratitude towards each other. Every week, have something that your partner has done that you have to appreciate. Just appreciate your partner about one thing every week. If you cannot do it every day, do it every week. Appreciate them for being a wife or for being a husband, for supporting you, for providing, even for taking care of themselves, for looking good. Appreciate them. I like the way you look good. I appreciate that you're still able to maintain your fitness, or you're still able to maintain this look since we got married. Those things just help your partner feel seen. Okay, rather than being quiet from morning to evening, from Monday to Sunday, you're not able to have anything positive to say about your partner. So I begin to teach them those strategies, and it helps to, initiate their connection again.
I totally agree with you. Those three key points that you mentioned, always never forget what attracted you to your partner, making sure that you're forgiving and you appreciate them. Those three are very important in a marriage. Totally agree with you. So, as a behavior specialist, you must have a deep understanding of pattern and habits. How important is it to break destructive relationship patterns? And what's the first step couples should take in breaking those habits?
I would say it's very important for couples to destroy every pattern that is standing as a barrier to their relationship. And the first step is for couples to recognize and acknowledge the patterns. So if you don't even recognize the patterns, you're not able to name what patterns they are, you won't be able to destroy it. So I work together with them to identify the underlying causes of those patterns, and then develop strategies for replacing those negative patterns with positive, constructive ones. Some couples have a bad way of communicating with each other. Some people answer question with question. Why would we be answering a question with a question? And some people don't know how to answer mildly to change what would have turned into a battle to a mere conversation. Your partner will ask you a question. The way you respond can either make them to become defensive, can either make the whole conversation to turn into a battle, or it will make it to just be an ordinary conversation. It's all in your response. So begin to figure out those patterns. It could be communication. It could be intimacy. Some people never initiate intimacy. They feel it only belongs to one person. It's either the man initiates it or that's it. Or it's either the one initiates it or that's it. I begin to teach them to drop those unhealthy patterns. And if it's a couple that loves to flirt with other people, like you go to work and you flirt with your work colleagues, your female colleagues or your male colleagues, and when you come home, you act as if your partner is the weapon that has been fashioned against you. That is where the problem lies. So those people outside are the people you want to have good communication with. And then when you come home, you are finding it difficult to even smile at your partner. How do you expect to have a wonderful relationship? So it starts from home. Everything you want to achieve in your life, you want to have a good family background, it starts from the home. Be a good person at home before you take it outside. If your family members or or your partner is not able to recommend you as a good person, they're not able to recommend you as a wonderful husband, father, mother, wife, then the recommendation coming from outside is null and void. So it starts from the family unit. So I try to help them to build that solid foundation. And it has helped a lot of partners to break those unhealthy, destructive patterns in their relationships.
That is so powerful. So, for someone who may not yet be in a relationship or is struggling with their personal well-being, what are some fundamental steps they can take to better prepare themselves for a healthy partnership in the future?
Well, these people can focus on building self awareness, self care, self reflection. You sit down and begin to talk about yourself to yourself. Become your own therapist. Ask yourself where you need to make changes. Ask yourself if you can actually date yourself or marry yourself. You sometimes people have to be honest about these things. You're looking for someone who is this and that, tall, dark, and handsome and rich. What about you? Are you also dark, handsome, pretty, rich? And some people have unrealistic expectations about who they want to be with. The woman has to be this, she has to be that, she has to be like this. Are you also like the kind of person she wants? So rather than focusing on those unhealthy things, they should start focusing on working on themselves. Practice effective communication. When you go out, practice active listening. Show empathy to people. Begin to put yourself in other people's shoes. Sympathize with people. Develop a strong sense of identity, values, and also create boundaries. It's not anyone that comes to you for a relationship that you must accept. And if you know that you don't want to marry this person, don't even get into a relationship with them. Don't waste their time. Don't waste your own time. So it's essential for creating a healthy relationship if you're able to sit down and ask yourself what you truly want in a partner. And if that person is not what you want, don't go for it. And ask yourself, what am I bringing to their table? What am I giving to my partner? What values am I bringing into this relationship? Then you begin to work on yourself so that when a partner comes in, they will also find you appealing.
Great advice. Love it. So, what role does self love and self care play in the success of a relationship? And how can individuals develop this before entering or while navigating a relationship?
I would say self love is very important. People will treat you how you treat yourself. If you're not in love with yourself, I'm not saying you have to be selfish about yourself, but know yourself, value yourself, have some self-worth. Know what you're worth. So when someone is giving you what you're not worth, you can easily walk away. You don't have to stay there and begin to tolerate something that you know you don't deserve. So, firstly, build self awareness, know who you are, to know what you want, so that you don't keep going in circles from one wrong relationship to another wrong relationship, from one toxic relationship to the other. You find yourself dating the same kind of people over and over again, then it has to do with you. You are the cause of the problem. Why? Because you have not stood and found this inner self. Ask yourself, who am I? And then begin to love that person, begin to treat that person right, have enough sleep, feed your body right, do some exercises that your body need, you know, say no to depression, say no to anxiety. That is one way you can love your body. And say no to smoking because smoking damages your internal organs. That means you actually love yourself because you don't want to harm yourself. You want to stay fit. You want to stay healthy. You want to look beautiful. That's why someone else will come and appreciate you. Your hair is not made, but you're wondering why he's not able to ask you, are you going to make your hair? You are never in a fitness gym. You never work out. You never eat healthy. But you're wondering why he never supports you and asks you why you should eat healthy. Because he met you that way in the first place. Or she met you that way in the first place. So begin to treat yourself well. Prioritize your sleep. Know the kind of friends you keep. If the friends are not bringing values into your life, don't be around them. So, in that way, when someone comes into your life, they already know what your values are. They know what healthy boundaries you have. They know how much you love yourself. And then they'll begin to treat you the same. It's as simple as that.
Well, great advice. From your experience working with couples, what is one key piece of advice you would give to those feeling overwhelmed by stress or anxiety in their relationship, and how can they find a path to healing?
I will say being anxious does not change anything, because I've had situations where I'm very anxious about something, how this will turn out, and I realized that I was just worrying myself for nothing, because what will be will actually be. So anxiety does not change situations. The earlier we are able to pray and leave matters in the hands of God, the better for us. That will be able to keep our heart healthy. We'll be able to reject some unhealthy sicknesses like high blood pressure, heart failure, and the rest, heart attacks. Reduce your stress and try to get some more rest. So if you're feeling overwhelmed by stress or you are having anxiety in your relationship, I would say take a deep breath and find out what is going on. What is the underlying cause of this stress? See a therapist. If you and your partner are not able to sit down one on one and have a meaningful conversation without turning it into a battle, then seek a third party, which is a therapist, someone who is certified and qualified to talk to you in a way that you and your partner will be able to express yourself, and they'll also relieve you from the anxiety that you are going through. There are so many parts to healing, and one part is through prayer. If you're able to pray and lay all your problems in the feet of God, I am telling you that when you get up, you're going to feel relief. That helps me. But there are some people's anxiety that are so much more than that. Even when they pray, they still feel anxious. It has become a mental problem. I will ask that they seek professional help and maybe even medication. That is one way they can cope and they can heal. Find friends that are a very good circle, people you can relate to, you can talk about your problems, people who are genuinely interested in your affairs. Don't share your affairs with friends you know they are going to laugh at you or they don't genuinely love you. Have friends that you know they have your back, and then share your problems with them, spend time with them, and avoid being alone. If you know you're going through anxiety or any kind of stress in your life, avoid spending time alone, because those things will build environment for you to think and become more anxious. Go outside and take a walk, go to the park, walk a dog, meet some friends, have a snack, and then laugh. That helps to, keep your anxiety on the low. That has helped me a lot, and that can help you too.
That is so empowering. Thank you for sharing that. So, what has been the most unexpected thing life has taught you about your own growth as a coach and as a person? And how has that changed your approach to helping others?
I would say one unexpected thing that life has taught me is that there are some people that can never change. No matter what you say, no matter how you coach them, they hold on to their own negative perspective. They refuse to let go. And if you're not careful as a coach, because you are pouring in a lot of energy into them, and because they have refused to let go of whatever they are holding, they refuse to change, it will begin to affect you mentally because you worry so much about your clients. I personally worry about my clients every day. They text me, I reach out to them, I check up on them. And if there's anyone who I realize is sliding off the road to healing, it affects me personally. I begin to get so worried. I tell them we need to talk. We need to schedule a session right away so that we can get back right on track. So, but then there are some people that no matter how much you pour into them, for some reason, something distracts them. They keep telling themselves that they are not good enough. They keep telling themselves that they are not this and they are not that, and they cannot make changes. And some people get stuck to whatever it is they believe in. They don't want to let go. So those kind of struggles as a coach, if you're not careful, you'll get yourself involved. You get too worried, you get too sick, you begin to lose hope. So when you have clients like that who are resistant to change, it's fine. It happens. I had to realize that as I went on as a coach that I have to. Everybody must not change. And not everybody will have a result when you speak with them. So I have to relax and let God take his course and let life take its course. And that has really helped me as a coach, knowing fully well that I have people who have changed, who have had positive impact in their life, and those are the people I have to focus on.
That's so amazing. So before we close, Blessing, what final piece of advice or wisdom would you offer to someone who is currently struggling in their relationship or dealing with personal challenges? How can they begin their journey of healing and transformation today?
Well, if you're currently struggling in your relationship or you're dealing with any personal change, I would say self reflect. Create some time for self reflection. Look in the mirror and look at yourself and ask yourself, what do you want to do with yourself? What has life taught you? Where am I going from here? Where do I want to be in the next 5 years? And also, if your relationship is giving you tough time, rather stay in a relationship where you have to struggle over and over again and nothing gets done. It's not a crime to walk away. If your partner is resistant to change and you have spoken to them countless times, you have tried therapy and still they still come up with the same behavior that is toxic to the relationship, it's not a sin to walk away. For your own self care, for your own peace of mind, for your own mental health, it's important to walk away. You can take a break from each other and try to reconnect. Give yourself time to reflect on what is not working in the relationship. Sometimes some people need to separate from each other to realize what has not been working. Then they begin to realize what they've been doing wrong. If you give them that space to reflect, you can come back together and build a better relationship. And if you're struggling to find love, I would say allow time. Love will find you. Build yourself. Do something that will keep you busy. Begin to have love in yourself. Develop that self worth, that self awareness. Begin to love yourself and treat yourself right. Ask yourself if you have in any way contributed to the relationships that have been going wrong. Try to be truthful and also be humble. Most people are not humble in this today's world. A lot of people are just not humble. We have unrealistic expectations. It could be those expectations are too high that our partners are not able to meet, and then we think that they're not good enough. So let's try to reflect on all those things and analyze the root cause of the problem. This will help you to be able to find a relationship and continue your healing journey and transformation.
Great advice, Blessing. Thank you so much. So, is there anything you're currently working on or any upcoming projects you're excited about that you would like to share with our audience?
Yes. I would like to share with your audience about Babe. Babe is an online dating platform for everyone, and Babe is currently free. We are running a promotion, and everyone that registers on Babe now to find love is currently free. You can download the app by going to your app store and go to Babe Relationship Platform, or you can go to the website www.babe.dating. We have about 12 coaches and mental health professionals who are there to coach you through your journey for free. Babe is a whole community. Anyone can join. Even the married can benefit from Babe. We have Babe Together that goes ahead to talk about marriages and how you can help each other to become the best version of yourself. So, yeah, I invite you to Babe. Log on to Babe, and then you'll be able to find love and also other important perks Babe comes with.
Wow, that is exciting. For anyone who would like to connect with you or learn more about your work, what is the best way for our listeners to reach out or follow you?
I would say my Facebook is there. It's titled Your Marriage Can Be Saved. The name of my Facebook page is Your Marriage Can Be Saved. So when you search for me on Facebook, you search for me on Instagram, Your Marriage Can Be Saved, you will find me. Follow me, and I give weekly tips on how to make your relationship better. I also post videos. I go live to teach my followers on how to be better at their relationships. I believe you too can learn something.
Thank you so much, Blessing. It has been an absolute pleasure speaking with you today and hearing your valuable insights.
I appreciate this opportunity. Thank you so very much. And I hope to do this again.
Thank you, Blessing. So to our listeners, thank you for tuning in. We hope you enjoyed today's conversation. Be sure to join us for the next episode. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe so you never miss an episode. Take care, everyone, and God bless.